So yes, I ride a Honda. In fact, I've had several Hondas. One thing that people say about Hondas is they might not be badass enough. Well, I dare you to take it up with this guy. And you know, when you're as badass as this guy, not everything has to be badass. See that? See that right there? And thanks for riding with Marshall.
Yeah.
Well, hi! Imagine that. You're watching me again. Well, today on Riding with Marshall, we're going to ride a standard, not a deluxe, not a touring, not an airbag model, just a standard Goldwing. Did he just say airbag? Yeah, there's actually a model of this with an airbag. But this is a standard Goldwing. I know, it doesn't look like my Goldwing. What's up with that? Well, this Goldwing is a 2021 standard model. Except for it has an extra option, a dual clutch transmission, which is getting more and more popular all the time.
What? An automatic transmission? When are you going to ride a real bike? Real bikes have 3 gears and a stick shifter. Well, Uncle Crash, this bike goes to 7. That's right, 7 gears, and the bike can flip through them far faster than you ever could with a clutch. So on the left, we have the light controls, a volume switch, a windscreen control, more on that later, a call button, menu commands, and a horn. In the center, some music controls and so much more that we'll cover at another time. On the right side, you have the drive controls like the start, neutral, drive, and cruise control switches. I might have to say it's a little more intuitive than some BMWs I've ridden. And here is a cubby for your phone, your Parks Pass, your granola bar, and your license and registration, please. The standard wing doesn't feature a top case like the touring model does. You do get some locking side cases though. The passenger floorboards are a work of art, sculpted right into the body when closed. Somebody was thinking. There are some small replaceable engine guards to save weight, and then there is this. My wing doesn't have this. I'm trying to get a handle on its function. It's a parking brake. When a DCT motorcycle is off, it is in neutral by design, so a parking brake is required. Something else that is different than my wing is these foldable mirrors with LED lights. This is perfect for those of us who are trying to squeeze 3 motorcycles into a single car spot in the garage. So I mentioned the windscreen switch. Check it out. And yes, you can change it while you are underway. I've tried adjusting my windscreen while moving. The results weren't pretty. It couldn't be any easier on this new generation of the wing. When the 6th generation wing came out in 2018, some complained about the storage space on the touring model, and some about the speakers. New for this year are higher wattage speakers, a velvet texture on the seat, XM radio antenna, and finally, Android Auto. So what does the standard wing sound like? Well, it sounds like a Goldwing, even though the engine was redesigned from the old versions. It's still in a Pose 6, so there's only so much you're going to change about the sound. Oh, and the color this year is deep pearl gray. So let's go put on a few miles, shall we? Oh wait, I have an alert. Kickstand is down. I do it all the time. Got it. So with the bike already on, we check our fuel, start the engine, and toggle through the menu until we land on the GPS. Then we cycle through the ride modes. Ride modes adjust your gear shifts and engine power band based on your riding conditions. For example, rain mode won't allow the engine to spin the rear wheel. Well, not much anyway. Sport mode will give you taller gears before shifting, like wringing out the bike for more speed. I'll use tour mode usually. So we release the brake, pull in the clutch, find the clutch, never mind. Now I'll raise the windscreen, put it in drive first. It helps to put it in drive first. And twist the throttle. No clutch to feather, so instead I will use the rear brake to check my speed if needed. This starship has left the space dock. The transmission is powered by an 1833cc liquid-cooled horizontally opposed 6-cylinder. 6 cylinders? What's wrong with 2? Or better yet, 1? I don't recall asking for your opinion, Uncle Crash. Takeoff was controlled. Now I test the brakes as we approach another Fort Collins red light. I've heard somewhere that ex-employees of the Psychic Network press red buttons when they sense a car approaching an intersection because, they work for Fort Collins, I'm guessing. The brakes work just fine, as you would expect on a high-end machine. We'll try them harder later. Now I'm playing with the radio to see how it sounds. Sounds pretty good. I think they're playing my song. Having placed the bike in sport mode, I notice the gears aren't shifting where I want them to. I can use the paddles to upshift, but I'm wondering, when will it shift on its own? There it is, 5th gear. And we're staying in 5th gear. Going over the tracks in sport mode made the engine skip a beat as the rear wheel leaves the ground. I think I'll put it back into touring mode, which will take effect at the next stop. Ah, that's better. These gears are shifting just a bit premature of where I would shift, but at least now we have reached 7th gear. All the better for the gas mileage, my dear. Now, if saving gas is the mission, you could always shift to the economy riding mode, but what fun is that? Now let's take it on the interstate. You may have seen this lumpy section of the road in my Fury test ride. It's pretty bad. The double wishbone front suspension, which is unique on this generation of Goldwing, make it quite a bit smoother than my wing though. It's over 85 degrees now and I could use a little more air. I wonder what difference this little piece of plastic is going to make. It actually makes quite a bit of difference. But now my next question. Will it close? Yep, I closed it on the first try, but that's because I knew to put my finger on the little nubbed area and press down right there. You can hear from the wind that the new generation wing allows more air to flow than my wing. Mine can get stifling without my aftermarket air diverters in place. This wing has airflow around the mirrors and around the fairing that you can actually feel when you're in play, which my wing, you barely feel any air at all. Now let's see how it leans. It seems a little stiffer than my wing. Or is it just better planted in the turn? I'm not sure. But it's also brand new and could use some breaking in. When it downshifts under power, it's basically like your car going into passing gear. It's interesting. I think you'll get the hang of it immediately. Watch me brake hard here. There's no one behind me. Can you feel me grind this thing to a halt? The brakes are very responsive. Doing a little road wobble feels a bit stiff, but if stability is what you're ultimately after, this bike has it. So would I buy it? Personally, I haven't worn out the Argo yet. At 105,000 miles, she's at her half-life, just like me. But I really like the DCT, and I like the ride modes on this bike, and I would love to have a 6th gear. And it's actually a pretty good looking bike too. So if you don't have a fully decked out wing like the one I have, then you should go test ride this one at Interstate Honda and see if you don't fall in love. Oh, and you can get the standard wing with a standard transmission too. So keep your chin up, my peoples, in the curves of the road and in the curves of life.